Hello mga Korea, we're back for the discussion of relevant costing. So natapos natin in the previous discussion ang pricing decisions natin, which is already the starting point of the decision-making process of management. So to continue with our discussion, eto na si tactical decision-making, also known as relevant costing. Alright, so our topic outline for this, again as extracted in the syllabus of the board exams, we have definition and identification of relevant cost, the concept of opportunity cost, approaches in analyzing alternatives in non-routine cases. Okay, so class, medyo mahaba to ha. And then you also have the types of decisions, kasi ito, lalo na tong types of decisions, himayin natin to. So make or buy, accept, reject, and so on and so forth. So this would be presented in full detail. So for this, unahin muna natin yung overview. Okay, class overview muna on what relevant costing is all about. So class, pag sinabi nating relevant costing, this is already the heart and soul of management accounting. Simply stated, this is decision making. So when you say decision making, that is now the situation where you are given the chance to decide between two alternatives. So between two alternatives as a solution to a possible problem. So class, yung sinabi natin na two alternatives, minimum lang yan. Pwedeng maraming alternatives ang pwedeng piliin ng isang company, and then you decide what will best suit and that will best answer the problem of the company. Now, if you notice, ang decision-making natin, class, is meron kasi tayong short-term decision-making, meron din tayong long-term decision-making. Ang long-term decision-making is strategic decision-making, problems that will concern the long-term sustainability of the company, strategic decision na yan. But for now, under relevant costing, ang pag-uusapan lang natin dito is only the short-run decision-making or the tactical decision-making. So pag sinabi nating tactical or short-run, yung effect niya is only within a short period of time, and most often than not, that is less than 1 year. Okay? So ngayon, para makapag-decide tayo, proper decision making, so dapat meron muna tayong sources of information. So, saan nga ba tayo pwedeng kumuha ng information? Di ba, class? So, your decision, hindi pwedeng tingala sa langit, tapos alam mo na yung gagawin mo, intuition lang, class, hindi pwede yon. In doing business, dapat pag nag-decide tayo, lalo na pag consultant ka na, there should be a basis of formulating your decision. And our sources of information can either be internal or external sources of information. Pag sinabi nating internal sources, these are information that is already available, readily available within the company records. And it can also be information that can be gathered through either document review or through interview to our employees or owners of the company, such as this one's class, di ba? So, pwede nating interview insiders itong mga to. We can also identify yung kanilang levels of authority needed for decision making, organizational charts. Class, ito yung pinaka-basis natin ng information, accounting, forms and documents, financial reports, okay, procedures, manuals, and policies in relation to what are affected, including the information system manuals. Bakit kailangan information system manuals, class? Yung IS manuals na yan. Kasi nga, dyan din natin kukunin yung mga information, most especially under MIS, Management Information Systems, including others. Class, pag sinabi nating information, combination yan ng qualitative, quantitative, financial, and non-financial. Isusunod natin yan mamaya. In contrast, we also have external sources of information. Ano ito mga external sources of information natin, such as obviously, our customers, yung supplier mo, di ba? Yung ating mga stockholders, government agencies, competitors, and the others. They are the ones, they will also provide us relevant information in decision making. In other words, class, pag nag-decide na tayo, anything goes. What is important is you must get the information that is needed for decision making. Okay? So earlier may nabanggit ako sa inyo. In decision making, it is not purely an analysis of quantitative info. So pag nag-analyze tayo, pag nag-decide tayo, it is always a combination of qualitative and quantitative data. What is the difference between the two? So pag sinabi nating quantitative muna class, quanti, it is measurable. It is measurable in terms of pesos or in terms of quantity. Okay, so measurable siya. And kadalasan, yung decision analysis natin, kasi nga theoretical lang tayo, di ba? Kadalasan quantitative lang. Limited tayo doon. But in reality, you also need to consider qualitative data or qualitative information in decision making. Qualitative class are factors that cannot be measured but they have significant impact in doing business. An example ng qualitative data, reaction ng customers, reaction ni competitors, di ba? Aside from that, ano pa? Employee morale are examples of qualitative data, including sa make-or-buy analysis, the quality of the product, the quality of the component if it was purchased, are components of qualitative data. So in decision making, it is always a combination of the quantitative and qualitative data. Depende na lang kay decision maker if decision maker will give heavier weight on quantitative or qualitative data. In fact, it depends on the given situation. Alright? So, aside from that, as stated earlier, it can also be financial or non-financial. What is the difference between financial and non-financial? Obviously, class. Pag sinabi nating financial, it is stated in terms of pesos. Di ba? In terms of pesos na yan, financial in nature. And mind you guys, pagdating na sa decision analysis natin, kadalasan yan yung tinitignan natin. The net advantage of an alternative is in fact the difference between, example, make or buy, and magkaling peso effect niya. Financial in nature yon. By nature, meron din tayong tinatawag na non-financial information. What is non-financial information? Kadalasan, class, those are the qualitative information. But non-financial can also include percentage analysis. Example, percentage of defective goods. Non-financial yon, di ba? So, marami pa. Okay, pati mga ratios, mga ganyan, are also non-financial in nature. Again, what is important is in decision making, dapat lahat na information na kailangan natin, financial, non-financial, quanti-quali, whether from sources natin, internal, external sources, should be available when doing your decision analysis. Okay? So, how do we analyze information? So, class, ito na yung ating analysis na information. Di ba kanina, in-emphasize natin, as much as possible, dapat meron kang internal and external, meron tayong quali and quanti, financial and non-financial. Why? The reason is the more information that is gathered, it will result to a better decision. Yun ang pinaka reason natin doon. And obviously, class, if it will result to a better decision, it will result to profitability of the company. Ang reason kung bakit meron tayong relevant costing is we want to improve the overall profitability of the company. Therefore, better decision will create better overall company profitability. Now, ang analysis of information is highly dependent on the skills of the decision maker. As a decision maker, you should know how to identify what is relevant in a given situation and what is not relevant in that situation. In other words, class, dapat skillful ka. Dapat marunong ka mag-sift na information. Okay, sift class, sift. Meaning yung pipiliin mo lang information na kailangan natin sa isang situation. Alright? So, that is how you analyze information. Now, what are the decision-making process? O, ito na class, di ba? Kanina, dinefine natin what is relevant costing. Then from relevant costing, what are needed for you to properly decide. So, alam na natin, dapat may information ka. Tapos, kanina, nabanggit na rin natin sa inyo, ito, how do you analyze information? Now, what are the decision-making process? Paano nga ba yung sequence nito? Okay, class, tignan natin yung steps ha. So what are the different steps in decision-making? Usually, this is applicable in both business situations, your personal life, and even other situations. First and foremost is you define the problem. Class, be careful. Defining the problem is different from identifying a symptom. A symptom is only a reflection of something wrong. Example, class, the company is generating a loss. Generating a loss is only a symptom. There is a problem contributing to that loss. So, pag sinabi nating defining a problem, you have to identify. Ano nga ba to? Example, class, mga usual sa atin, make or buy, accept, reject a special order, continue, discontinue a special order. Sorry, a product line, I mean. Continue, discontinue, product line. Or meron pa yung iba, product combination, di ba? So, define the problem. The reason kung bakit kailangan natin i-define yung problem is because of step number 2. Ano ang step number 2? The information needs of a specific decision situation or problem is or it can be different from another situation. Ang lagi kong in-emphasize dito, class, dito, I always emphasize yung avoidable cost. Diba? As a general rule, avoidable cost is relevant in both tactical decision making and capital budgeting. But, very big but, pagdating sa special order, what happens to avoidable cost? Avoidable cost is no longer relevant under special order. Why? Because under special order class, ano lang relevant cost natin doon? Only the cost incurred. Therefore, what will happen to avoidable cost? It is no longer relevant. Yun ang rason kung bakit importante na i-define mo yung problem for you to know what is the relevant cost in the given situation. After doing so, class, you can now identify your alternatives. So, as stated earlier, alternatives are possible solutions to the problem. So, yung possible solutions na yan, siyempre, hindi naman siya limited sa dalawa lang. Pwedeng marami, di ba? Pero sa atin kasi, sa discussion natin ngayon, limited tayo sa dalawa. Make or buy, accept, reject, continue, discontinue. Yun lang yung pag-uusapan natin. Di ba? So, I'll identify the alternatives. Basically, class, pag sinabi natin alternative, there are possible solutions to the problem. And then from there, identify the consequences. Pag sinabi natin consequences, class, eto na yung pros and cons niya. Okay, the pros and the cons. The advantages and the disadvantages. When you say consequences of the alternative, in financial terms, we look at the effect on the net income. So bottom line, class, pag sa decision making natin, syempre ang gusto natin is mag-increase yung net income. Therefore, if you are dealing with cost, mga cost natin, class, o decision guide na to, medyo nag-advance na, o if you're dealing with cost, syempre, pipiliin natin yung lower cost, di ba? To increase profits. If you're dealing with revenues naman, ano pipiliin natin? The higher revenue to increase profits na naman. In other words, class, dito sa determine the possible consequences of the alternatives, we will now identify the net effect on income. Okay, titingnan natin siya. So, again, the effect on income is highly dependent on the situation, including the problem to be resolved. And then after thorough analysis of your alternatives and their pros and cons, it is now time for you to decide. O class, mag-decide ka na. Based on your best professional judgment, choose the best alternative that you think is that will solve the problem, that will best solve the problem. So class, dito sa letter E, nag-decide ka na, di ba? Actual implementation na yan. After actual implementation will always come performance evaluation. Did I make the proper decision? Did I attain my objective, which is to increase net income? Pag na-attain mo yun, class, well and good. Okay? What if you were not able to attain the objective? Instead na nag-gain ka, nalugi ka lalo. Di ba, class? Anong gagawin mo? Buti na lang, short-term decision analysis lang to. Because short-term decision analysis is easily reversible. O, di ba, class? So, pag nagkamali ka ng decision ngayon, ano gagawin mo? I-reverse mo lang. I-reverse mo lang. Okay? Example, make or buy. You decided to buy. Nagkamali ka, nakapagasto ka lalo. What do you do? Sorry, supplier, hindi na lang pala buy. Okay? In the future, eto na yung last transaction natin. I would rather continue making. It is easily reversible pag short-term decision analysis. Alright? So, class, ganun lang ang steps in decision making natin. So, at this point, na-introduce natin sa inyo what decision making is all about, as well as what are the anong cycle, the decision making cycle. Hello, class. Let's continue with our discussion. These are now the approaches in decision analysis. Dalawa lang to, the total and the differential approach. Now, for us to easily understand this, compare natin agad-agad. What is the difference in the total and differential? Simple lang naman to, class. Pag total approach, we will prepare the complete set of financial statements. Example, meron tayong current production of 10,000 units. Since in production of 10,000 units, there is a special order of 2,000 units. Sa total approach, class, gagawa tayo ng income statement ng 10,000, i-compare natin ng income statement ng 12,000. And then we look for the differences. In contrast, pag differential analysis, we will only identify how much is the increase in revenue and expense of the additional 2,000 units. Anyway, class, may example tayo niyan. Differential analysis yon. Now, the danger of total approach is you are including both relevant and irrelevant information in your reports, which is now contrasted by differential, because under differential analysis class, ano lang yung makikita natin doon? Only the relevant information is highlighted. Para bang, eto, di ba class, sigurado ko lahat tayo naglaro nito. Spot 5 differences in 30 seconds. Class, pag tinignan mo yan, total approach yan. Kasama dito, both costs that will not change and those that are, will remain the same, and those that will change. Di ba class? Total approach yan. Mahirap hanapin. In contrast, under differential analysis, ano lang gagawin natin doon? Highlight ka agad. Ito yung naiiba. Ang dali-dali. Di ba class? Yan ang difference ng total at saka differential analysis. Now, in terms of advice on what to use, it is not advisable for you to use total approach because it is misleading. It is misleading because it includes irrelevant cost. In contrast, it is advised na ang gamitin natin is differential analysis because under differential analysis, kitang-kita natin agad-agad yung difference. It is direct and simple. Parang etong example natin. Di ba, class? O, ganun lang yon. Total and differential analysis. Now, meron tayong simple example para makita nyo. The management of a company is considering a new labor-saving machine that runs for 3,000 per year. Data about the company's annual sales and cost with and without the new machine are as follows. So class, ito na yan. Okay, ginawa ko na kasi gusto ko lang naman na makita nyo is the difference between total and differential approach. Itong first na solution natin na to, the current situation at saka situation with new machine, ito tinatawag natin na total approach. Total approach yan because we will prepare two sets of income statement including those that will not change between two alternatives. Di ba, Knas? Imagine, labor saving machine lang that runs for 3,000 ang pinag-uusapan. Tapos anong nangyari? Kinonsider mo pa lahat. Ano lang naman ang gagalaw dapat dito? Only the labor and the rent of the new machine. So, gagawin mo pa yung buo. Now, anong shortcut niyan? Class, that is total approach ha. This is differential. Ayan. Klase ng differential approach. Sa differential approach, ano lang titignan natin? Savings on the labor versus incremental fixed cost. And how much is the net advantage? Net advantage of 12,000. Tingnan mo dito, class, 12,000 din, di ba? Pinahirapan mo pa sarili mo dito sa total approach. In contrast dito sa differential, direct analysis. So, syempre, anong pwede nating isuggest o recommend sa inyo pagdating na sa board exam? To develop speed and accuracy, differential approach tayo doon. Okay? So, yun lang naman ang pinagkaiba ng dalawang yan. Now, last, ito medyo mahaba yung discussion natin dito ha. Tutuloy na natin yung discussion under 1.4.1.1, definition and identification of relevant costs, including the concept of opportunity cost. Kaya medyo mahaba itong discussion natin na to. Okay? So now, first and foremost, what is relevant cost? There are two most important characteristics of a relevant cost. It is a future cost that differs between two alternatives. It differs or changes between two alternatives. But of the two major characteristics, one of them is the most important. What is the most important? It changes between two alternatives. Okay? As long as it will change, automatic relevant cost na yan. It can be in the form of revenue. It can be in the form of cost. As long as it will change, it is relevant. Ganun siya ka-importante. So, class, yun lang ha. In decision analysis, yan lang naman yung tinitingnan natin eh. What is the cost that change between the two alternatives? The relevant cost. All other costs usually are already irrelevant na. Hindi na sila kailangan sa decision analysis natin. Now, how do you identify relevant cost? So, identification of relevant cost is highly dependent on the decision situation, which was emphasized earlier. Di ba, Knas? Ulitin ko ulit ito. Example, yung avoidable cost natin. Is avoidable cost relevant in special order? Ang sagot doon, class, no. It is not relevant. Is avoidable cost relevant in make or buy analysis? Yes, because basically, what is make or buy analysis? It is basically an analysis of avoidable cost. See? Di ba, class? Kaya ganun ka-importante. You must be skilled enough to identify what is relevant and what is not relevant. Alam nyo, class, sa problem solving natin, yan yung mahirap na portion. Paano maghanap ng relevant at saka irrelevant in the decision situation. Ang dali-dali kaya mag-compute. Ang gagawin lang natin, total difference. That's it. That's already the difference between the two alternatives. But the question is, tama ba yung nilagay mo dito sa alternative na to? Tama ba yung nilagay mo sa second alternative mo to get or to arrive at the correct answer? So, this is the challenging part, how to identify the relevant cost. Class, skill yan ha, skill yan. Which is tutulungan kita na ma-develop mo yung skill na yon. Okay? So, ito yan class, discerning, di ba? Discerning what is relevant between two alternatives. Now, what are examples of relevant costs? Class, examples lang ito. Most often than not, variable cost is relevant. Kasi it changes, di ba? It changes as production increases, the variable cost will increase. So most often than not, variable cost is relevant. Now the question is, how about fixed cost? Is fixed cost also relevant? Ang sagot doon, class, yes, but subject to limitation. Only the portion that will increase or decrease. Net increase, that is the incremental, or net savings, that is the avoidable cost, is the portion that is relevant. Not the entire fixed cost. Only the portion that will increase or decrease will become relevant. Okay? So class, yun in terms of cost behavior. What is imputed cost? Class, ang imputed cost is estimated cost. It is relevant in decision making. Alam nyo kung bakit? Kasi class, ang decision analysis, future cost pa lang yan eh. Di ba? Future cost pa lang yan. Since future cost pa lang yan, ibig sabihin nun, it is a cost that will be incurred in the future. So how will you establish yung mga cost natin, mga relevant cost natin? Puro estimated cost lahat yan. Example class of imputed cost. We're currently making our component. Yung component part ng product natin. The component part of our product, example is the bottle cap. Okay, yung bottle cap ng bote, component part niya. So, ngayon, we're currently making it for 1 peso. Production cost is 1 peso, readily available sa ating mga company records. Now, nagtanong ka, what if we will buy the bottle cap from a supplier? Pag si supplier, magkano kaya ang benta nito? Eh, may nahanap kang supplier, tinawag mo siya, supplier, magkano benta mo dito? Sabi niya, for this, I can sell it to you for 80 centavos. Class, yung 80 centavos na yan, estimated cost ni supplier. But is the 80 centavos already relevant? Yes, relevant na yan. Imputed cost class is estimated cost, but it is already relevant in decision making. Ang imputed cost, meron siyang kapatid. Ang kapatid ni imputed cost is known as opportunity cost. If imputed cost is estimated cost, what is estimated revenue? Estimated revenue that is relevant in decision making is known as the opportunity cost. Class, by definition, ang opportunity cost, dalawa yan. It is the benefit forgone or the income forgone for choosing an alternative. What is benefit forgone? Ang benefit forgone class, meron kang opportunity. Example, upon graduation, inoferan ka ng isang major company. Sabi niya, mag-work ka sa amin. Papasweldohan kita, starting mo, bigyan ka namin ng 30,000. Sabi niya. Eh, ikaw naman, sabi mo, ayoko yatang magtrabaho muna. Gusto ko yata munang mag-take ng board exam. So what will I do? I will forgo of the possible benefit of 30,000. Yung 30,000 class, ang tawag natin doon, that is the benefit forgone. Benefit forgone is an opportunity that you decided to give up. Yun ang opportunity cost, side A. What is side B of opportunity cost? Opportunity cost class is income that is already being earned but it was forgone. Ito naman, applicable naman ito sa mga working students natin. Nagtatrabaho ka na, but you decided to review. For you to concentrate on your review, you decided to leave your work. Okay? So, nag-resign ka muna. Temporarily, nag-resign ka muna sa trabaho. What happened to the salary that you were earning? The salary that you were earning, finorgo mo na siya. Ang tawag natin doon, class, income forgone. Opportunity cost pa rin yun. Okay? So class, at this point, ikaw to sigurado o, di ba, mag-aaral ka ba? Mag-aaral ka ba? O manonood ka ng telenovela mo or ng ating mga Korean novela, di ba class? Baka manonood ka. Sabi mo, manonood ako, isang episode lang. Isang episode lang, pang-relax lang, pang-relax. Tapos yung isang episode mo, naging isang season na pala. Di ba class? Naubos na yung oras mo. Opportunity cost din yun. Okay, class, opportunity cost. Or, we also have savings. Class, ang savings is also relevant in decision making, ha? Ano examples ng savings? Avoidable fixed cost. Mga yan. Or avoidable variable costs are also savings are also relevant. Okay, so class, yun ang mga examples ng relevant cost natin. Now, earlier, nakita mo dito sa discussion natin, dun sa syllabus ng board exam, the concept of opportunity cost. Diba? Na-discuss ko ng maigi ang concept of opportunity cost dito. But, dagdagan lang natin. Okay, dagdagan lang natin ng layman's discussion. Ang opportunity cost class is similar to what? Parang yung nangyari sa situation na to. The poor lady decided to reject the offer of this guy. Okay, of this simple guy. So, yung simple guy pala na to, ino-offer niya wedding na. Di ba, class? Ayan, mag-propose na siya. Ni-reject siya. Ang tinanggap niya is, alin ang tinanggap niya? Okay, class, yung offer ng etong guy na to. Ayan, tinanggap niya. Tapos, ano sabi ng girl? Sabi ng girl, ay, ito lang pala, natanggap ko. Sabi niya, ano ba to? Parang kwan lang yan, di ba, class? Ano ba to? Vacuum cleaner. Class, vacuum cleaner. Ito, gagawin kanyang katulong. Ito naman, gagawin kanyang forever na spouse niya. So, ladies, ano tawag nyo dito? Opportunity cost. Di ba? Opportunity lost. Nandyan na yung taong para sa'yo. Finorgo mo pa. Ano to? From naging love of your life, naging vacuum cleaner. Okay, class? So, be careful, ha? Yan ang concept ng opportunity cost. Okay? In a simple diagram. Ayan. So, that's the concept. So, I hope nasundan na natin siya. Okay? So, class, pag alam mo yung mga relevant cost, dapat alam mo rin ang irrelevant. What is irrelevant cost? Class, ang irrelevant costs are costs that will no longer change between two alternatives. By definition, irrelevant cost, dalawa kasi yan eh. We have your committed cost and we also have the sunk cost. They are not relevant in decision making. So class, unahin na natin si discretionary cost. What is discretionary cost? May kapatid yan eh, discretionary and committed. Pero unahin na natin si discretionary cost. Ang discretionary cost is also a future cost. Future cost siya, similar to relevant, but it does not change between two alternatives. Class, it does not change anymore. So, kumbaga, discretionary cost is already normal in the course of doing business. Hindi mo na siya pwedeng iwasan. Ang best example nito, it is inherent. Class, ang pwede lang natin gawin sa discretionary cost, i-delay mo lang. Ang best example natin dito is once you purchase a delivery equipment or example, ito, jeep. Once bumili ka tayo ng jeep, automatic it will be subject to repairs and maintenance. Imposible na walang repairs and maintenance yan. Okay? Discretionary cost na yan. So, simply stated, class, is discretionary cost relevant in decision making? Answer is no, it is not relevant. Ignore mo lang siya. Similar to discretionary cost is your committed cost. What is committed cost, class? Ang committed cost is obligated ka. Obligated ka to incur that cost, okay, because you entered into a contract. Ano example nito? Example is yung rent. Di ba, class, rent? Pumirma ka ng contract of lease. And because of that contract of lease, automatic, in the future, yung lease period natin, you have to pay, you have to settle the rental payments. Committed cost ang tawag natin doon. Sa ayaw at sa gusto, talagang babayaran mo yung binayad, yung agreement natin sa kontrata. Okay, so class, how about this one? Pag tinanong kita, ayan, may nag-propose na. Nag-propose na. Okay? So, ikaw naman na lady, tinanggap mo na. You're already committed to each other, di ba? Ang question lang dyan is, magpupush through ba? Pwede ba bang mag-back out? Pwede ba pang mag-back out pag committed na kayo sa isa't isa? Pag ang tawag mo sa kanya, fiancé na, di ba? Pwede ba bang mag-back out? Ang sagot doon, depende sa inyo yan. Di ba? Kasi sigurado ko may sumagot sa inyo, ay oo naman sir, yung may asawa nga naghihiwalay pa, paano pag girlfriend, boyfriend pa lang. Di ba? So class yan, depende sa inyo yan. Committed cost. Ang committed cost class is not relevant in decision making. In the same manner, ito yung third type of irrelevant cost natin, sunk cost. By definition, a sunk cost is a historical cost. Kaya tinawag na sunk di ba? It is a historical cost that we no longer change between two alternatives. Kahit anong mangyari, hindi na yan magbabago. Ang example nito, class, yung ex mo. Di ba, class? So, kung may ex ka, o yung ex-girlfriend mo, ex-boyfriend mo, kalimutan mo na siya. Bakit mo siya pinag-iwanan? Bakit mo siya iniwan? Kasi hindi siya nagbago. 'Di ba? So ano na siya sa'yo? History na lang siya. See? Class, sunk cost na. So ang tawag mo sa ex mo, sunk cost. Di ba, class? So ano example pala nito mga sunk cost natin? Ayan, may example ako sa inyo, Ocean Gate. Ay malamang alam niyo yung nangyari dyan, di ba? Kasi Titanic is already a sunk cost. Lumubog na talaga, wala na magagawa. Nasundan pa siya ni Ocean Gate, di ba? So what are the examples of a sunk cost? Class, ito mga to, lalo na sa continue, discontinue, including, sell as is surpasses further. I mean, ito, joint cost. Kasi alam nyo, kadalasan ng mga joint cost natin, sunk cost na yan. Under sell as is surpasses further kasi whether passes further or not, na-incur na yun di ba? Na-incur na yung joint cost natin. Cost of obsolete inventories, historical cost na yan. And other types of cost. Example is the old equipment under replacement decision, sunk cost na rin yan. In other words, class, sunk cost, yung X mo lang yan. Okay? And meron pa, class, kadalasan, income taxes are not relevant in decision making. Okay? Income taxes. Bakit? Because income taxes cannot be avoided. Di ba? Hindi naman natin pwedeng iwasan yan Otherwise, ano mangyari doon? Okay? Otherwise, it is technically, it can be avoided. Di ba? Pero hindi talaga pwedeng zero. Hindi pwedeng ganon. Di ba? So talagang magbabayad ka pa rin ng tax mo. So by nature, what are income taxes under management accounting? They are considered to be irrelevant. Okay? For the income tax. Next, so class, meron tayong simple illustration. Sa simple illustration natin, ang question lang dito is identify the relevant cost. Okay, so class, this is part of your handouts. Basahin mo na lang. Okay, basahin mo na lang. So the question here is, if production of this engine was discontinued, so the production capacity would be idle and the supervisor would be laid off. Class, ano ibig sabihin ng laid off? Tatanggalin si supervisor. Pag tinanggal si supervisor, what will happen to the salary of the supervisor? It will become avoidable cost. Identify the relevant cost. Class, ito yung solution natin. Okay, solution class. Materials, variable cost. Variable cost yan relevant. Direct labor, variable cost relevant din yan. Sa situation na to, the supervisor salary is avoidable. Therefore, it becomes relevant. The fringe benefits on direct labor is variable cost. Therefore, it is also relevant. Okay? So, ang tamang sagot, 385,000. Now, so pag tinignan natin to, alin dyan ang hindi natin isinama? We did not include depreciation and rent. Class, what is depreciation? Sunk cost yan, di ba? What is rental? Class, rental is a committed. That is a committed cost. Kaya hindi na sila relevant. So, ito lang, class, sa mga relevant components natin. Ang dali, Di ba, class? Ang dali-dali. Sana ganyan lang board exams. This is an actual CMA exam, by the way. Okay? Anyway, ito yung mga decision guides natin. So, paano nga ba mag-decide? Class, logic and common sense lang yan, no? But when using logic and common sense, again, you must consider the quantitative and the qualitative information. So class, quantitative. Pag quantitative, paano tayo mag-decide? Decide the one that will result, the alternative that will result to higher profits. Nabanggit ko sa inyo yung kanina, di ba? So if you're dealing with cost, piliin mo yung lower cost to increase profits. If you're dealing with revenues, piliin mo yung higher revenue to increase profits. That's quantitative. In terms of qualitative, ano naman yung approach natin dito? Approach natin dito, class, is titignan natin what is the possible long-term repercussion. Alam niyo example nito? Example nito is accept, reject a special order. You decided to accept the special order today at a minimum price. Zero profits pa nga tayo eh. Tinanggap natin yung special order because alam natin na yung customer na yan in the future will order larger quantities in the future and we can now set a normal profit. Qualitative factor yun, class. Ganon din sa make or buy mo. Sa make or buy analysis, you decided to buy the component. Currently, usual, puro make yan, di ba, class? You decided to buy the component. What is the effect on employee morale? So, class, pag affected the employee morale, affected long-term yung operations ng company. Ganun kabigat ang qualitative approach or qualitative information. So class, take note pag nag-decide tayo, always consider both the qualitative and the quantitative effects of the decision. Now, aside from that, ano pa? O na-emphasize na to class quantitative, immediate effect on income. Increase-decrease in contribution margin, effectively increasing or decreasing our net income. But in contrast, class, what is the effect of qualitative? Pangmatagalan yan. Long-term impact on profits. So, kumbaga class, pag short-term, ito lang yung pinaglalaban mo. Yan lang yung pinaglalaban mo. Pero pag long-term, anong pinaglalaban natin? Greater profits in the future. Okay? So, yun siya. Yun yung difference niya. Now, what alternatives need to be analyzed? Ito na yan, class. Okay, ito na yan. So, ganito kasi example niyan. Make or buy. Example, make or buy. Alin doon ang gagawan natin ng analysis? It depends. If the company is currently making, you only make an analysis if the company decides to buy. Alam nyo kung bakit, class? Kasi if the company decides to continue making, no changes will take place. Di ba, class? Pareho lang yan. But if the company, which is now making a component, decides to buy the component, changes will take place. Ang analyzin natin, class, the impact of buying decision. In the same manner, accept, reject a special order. Usually, wala namang special order eh. Di ba? Wala namang special order. So, pag nag-analyze tayo, on the assumption that there will be a special order. Kasi, class, pag may special order, changes will take place. Yun ang analyzin mo. Di ba, class? So, in contrast, if there is no special order as is, status quo yung income natin, pareho lang yung income mo, walang changes na mangyayari. Yun ang ibig sabihin nito. What alternative needs to be analyzed is the alternative that will create a change in cost or change in revenue that will affect the company's profits. Alright? So, yun lang yun. Okay, ganun kadali. Now, at times in decision making, hindi natin maiwasan yung tinatawag na indifference point. What is indifference point? Indifference point is the point wherein the cost of alternatives is the same. Example, relevant cost to make is 10 pesos. Relevant cost to buy is also 10 pesos. Class, pareho lang yung magiging cost nila. So usually, anong decision analysis ang gagamitin natin? You rely more on the qualitative approach. Example, relevant cost to make 10, relevant cost to buy 10. Anong gagawin mo? You compare the components. Alin sa dalawang component ang mas maganda yung quality niya. So from quantitative, you rely now more on the you rely more on qualitative decision analysis. So, ganun yun, class, pag inabot tayo ng indifference point. Alam nyo, in fact, even if the problem is silent at inabutan ka ng indifference point, what is the advice? It is advised that the company should rather make the component because you will have quality control over the production process. Alright? So, ganun yun. O, simple illustration tayo. JJ Motors Incorporated employs 45 sales personnel to market its line of luxury automobiles. The average car sells for $23,000 and a 6% commission is paid to the salesperson. JJ Motors is considering change the commission arrangement that would pay each salesperson a salary of $2,000 per month plus a commission of 2% of sales made by that salespersons. At what the amount of total monthly car sales by which JJ Motors would be indifferent as to which plan to select is what, class? Analyzin mo. Ano yung old? Yung old scheme, 6% lang. Yung new scheme, 6% commission, Yung new scheme, 2% na lang. Pero, meron naman siyang pasweldo na 2,000 per month. Ang tinatanong sa atin, class, ano kaya yung sales level per person and in total that will result to the same will result to the same expense to the company. Indifference point. Ayan. So what do we do? Comparison lang yan. Class, ito lang gagawin mo. Compare mo lang, di ba? And then, ang nangyari dito, naging 4, nabawasan ng 4%. Yung 4% ginawa niyang cash na 2,000. In other words, class, i-divide mo lang. O, yan, i-divide mo. 2,000 divided by 4%. What is the indifference point per salesperson? That is now 50,000. Currently, we have how many employees? 45 sales personnel. Times 45 mo, ilan ang total sales at indifference point? 2,250,000. Okay, indifference point. Ayan. Now, sigurado ko itatanong mo sa akin, Sir, nasan dyan yung equal? Di ba, nasan dyan yung equal? Eh, syempre, okay, ginawan ko na rin ng proof. Kasi sigurado ko, tatanungin mo sa akin yon. Ito yung class, 2,250,000 at 6% old. Magkano total expense niya? 135. Now, under the new scheme, commission, 2% lang. Pero, may pasweldo siya. May pasweldo siya na 2,000 at 45 persons. Liwas 90. Class, pag tinotal mo yan, pareho na sila 135,000 in difference point na yan. Now, class, ganito yan. Ganito. Pag yung sales natin is greater than the indifference point, i-prove mo na lang to ha. If our sales exceeded 2,250,000, much better ang new scheme. Mas makakatipid yung company if sales will exceed the indifference point na total sales. But if our sales is lower than the indifference point, mas makakatipid yung company under the old scheme. Yun ang gamit niya sa decision making. Okay? So class, at this point, we were able to finish. Diba? Natapos natin yung mga different types of cost natin. The relevant cost, including those costs that are not relevant, including the principles of opportunity cost and the indifference point. Okay? So class, mamaya, mag-i-in-depth na tayo doon sa different types of decision situations. Oh, class, start na tayo sa mga decision situations natin, starting off with make or buy analysis. So, class, hihimayin natin to ha. So, for every situation, decision analysis, meron tayong prepared na examples for this. Okay, starting off with make or buy analysis. So, class, what is make or buy analysis? Basically, make or buy is an analysis of avoidable cost. Why? If you decide to make, you will avoid the cost of buying. If you decide to buy, you will avoid the cost of making. Di ba? So, in current terminologies, ang tawag ngayon natin dyan, insourcing or outsourcing. Current trends, yun ang matawag natin dyan. So, class, since you're dealing with cost, in terms of decision analysis, ano ang pipiliin natin? As stated earlier, choose the cost that is lower. Choose the lower cost that will maximize our profits. Yun yung sinasabi natin sa inyo kanina, na ang ating analysis limited lang sa quantitative factors. Pero class, in real world situations, dun mo na magagamit yung combination ng quantitative and qualitative factors mo. But either ways, we will do our best to give you examples for each situation na meron din siyang qualitative and quantitative side. Okay? So, what is our decision guide? As stated earlier, class, piliin mo yung cheaper to increase profits. Diba? Ganun lang naman yun eh. Wala nang iba. Now, what are the relevant costs? Okay, syempre, para mas madali ang buhay natin, di ba, class? Ano yung mga relevant costs natin? What are the relevant costs to make? Most of the time, class, ang relevant cost to make natin, lahat na cost na nilagay natin sa inyo kanina, na relevant cost, lahat yun, pasok yun ang the relevant cost to make. The variable cost, avoidable fixed cost, opportunity cost, savings, lahat-lahat na yan, okay, are part of the relevant cost to make. In contrast, what a relevant cost to buy? Kasi ang relevant cost to buy natin, syempre, pag binili mo yung component, di ba? Binili natin yung part, including incidental cost that is capitalizable at the point of purchase, such as freight in or materials handling cost. Mga ganon. So, class, yun ang mga relevant cost natin. Kadalasan, sa problem solving natin, lalo na sa relevant cost to buy, most often than not, ang nakita lang natin dito is only the acquisition price. Bihirang-bihira ang mga problems na meron pang additional cost relevant to buy. Yan, class. Okay? So, what are the qualitative factors? As stated earlier, sinabi ko sa inyo, di ba? As much as possible, we will try our best to infuse qualitative factors. Relevant cost to make class is employee moral. So, what is employee moral? Tuwang-tuwa yung employees mo kasi may tiwala ka sa kanila. Na instead na binibili natin yung component na pwede namang bilhin sa labas, ginagawa na lang nila. Tuwang-tuwa sila, class. Motivation sa kanila yon. They will feel important. And they will value your company. They will value the services of the company in the long run. They will stick with you until the end. Tindihan, no, class? Yan ang relevant cost na qualitative factor na make. In contrast, class, if you decide to buy, may question tayo kay supplier. Si supplier ba is reliable ba siya? On-time delivery ba? Yung price ni supplier natin, will it be stable in the long run? Baka naman fluctuating yung kanyang selling price. Di ba, class? Pag fluctuating, talo tayo niyan. And aside from that, ultimately, syempre, if we decide to buy, we will compare the quality of our component if it was made. We will compare the quality of the supplier if it was bought. Iko-compare mo yung dalawang yon. Those are the factors that you need to consider. Okay, sa class, ganun ha? Now, madali lang naman ang make or buy analysis. So, may example tayo para sa inyo. Rose Auto Company manufactures a part for use in its production of automobiles. When 10,000 items are produced, the cost per unit are as follows. Materials, labor, variable overhead, and fixed manufacturing overhead, total of 128. Monty Company has offered to sell Rose Auto Company 10,000 units the part for 120 per unit. The plant facilities could be used to manufacture another part at a savings of 180,000. Class, alam mo, pag ang problem sa ganyan, tumatakbo na yung isip mo. Nag-iisip ka na, nag-analyze ka na dapat. Okay, so class, eto, sigurado ako, 180. In-offer sa'yo ng 120. Mukhang mas mura yata pag binili ko, di ba? Papaisip ka kaagad eh. Then aside from that, the plant facilities could be used to manufacture another part at a savings of 180. Relevant? Yes, kasi savings yan. If Rose Auto accepts the supplier's offer, in addition to 20 pesos per unit of fixed overhead on the original part would be eliminated. Therefore, class is 20 pesos also relevant. Of course, because basically, what is make or buy? Analysis of avoidable cost. So now, questions. What is the relevant cost per unit for the original part? Which alternative is best for Rose Auto Company? And by how much? Class, be careful with the first question. What is the relevant cost of the original part? Why? Kasi class, pag binasa mo ito maigi, the plant facilities could be used to manufacture another part at a savings of 180. May question ako dito. Is the 180 relevant in question letter A? Oh, di ba, class? Ang sagot doon ay no. Bakit no? Kasi class, yung 180 na yan pertains to another part. It is not relevant to, it is not the production cost of, ano ba to? Okay? Of what is being done by the company. Ayan, class. Okay, yung part na ginagawa ni company. Another part yun eh. Kaya plus, pansin mo na yung sagot dito. Materials, labor, variable overhead, and the avoidable fixed overhead lang. Hindi natin isinama yung 180,000 na yun. Lumabas na rin to sa board exams natin. Okay? Be careful. So, pag nagsasagot tayo nito, attention to what is required. But, eto na yung but niya. In letter B, which alternative is best for Rose Auto Company? And by how much? Is the 180,000 relevant in the decision analysis? Ang sagot doon, class, yes, it will become relevant. Tingnan nyo to ha, tingnan mo to. Ito, class, kita mo? Savings in the space, nandito na yan. Relevant na siya. Materials, labor, variable overhead, avoidable fixed overhead lang. Take note, yung portion that cannot be avoided will not change between two alternatives, therefore ignore the unavoidable portion. Purchase price, class, 1.2 million. Baka itanong mo pa sa akin, saan nanggaling yan? Okay, that is 120,000 units. 120 per unit multiply with 10,000 units. Doon natin nakuha yung 1.2 million na yon. Okay? So, ganun din yung iba, class, ha? Ganun din yung iba. Okay, so that's 10,000 times materials, labor, and the relevant overhead components. Yan, minultiply lang niya. Ayun, di ba, class? Baka hanapin mo pa sa akin saan nanggaling itong mga amounts na yan. Minultiply lang yung per unit with the number of units needed. So between the two, between make or buy, we were able to prove na it is cheaper for the company to buy. So ganito yan, class. If the company decides to buy the component, what will happen to net income? Net income will increase by 140,000 dahil may cost savings tayo. Okay? But in contrast, if the company decides to continue making, class, if you continue making, nothing will happen. Net income will remain the same. Tandaan mo yun, di ba? Yung sinasabi natin kanina na what needs to be analyzed. So, ito yung sinasabi natin, if you buy, class, if you buy, our income will either increase or decrease. Sa situation na to, if we decide to buy, our income will increase by 140 because it is cheaper. But if you decide to make, net income will remain the same. Okay? Now, i-question natin yung opportunity cost. Pag tinanong ito, class, the company decided to buy, how much is the opportunity cost? Ang sagot doon, 0. Because if you will buy, you will actually earn the benefit of 140. But if the question is how much is the opportunity cost to make? Class, if you make, you will forgo a possible increase in income of 140. So if you make, the opportunity cost is 140. If you buy, opportunity cost is 0 because you will in fact earn the additional 140,000. Class, yung solution na to, gross method ang ginamit ko. Okay, gross. Gross method meaning, yung savings in space na nilagay natin became a component of relevant cost to make. Kuminsan kasi pwede natin gamitan to ng logic eh. Ang logic nito, class, is, if I will buy, I will save naman. So, dapat, yung savings ko na 180 is a deduction to my cash outlay if I will buy. Class, that is possible if you use the net method. Class, tingnan mo to ha, tingnan mo to. Yung 180 na yan, lilipat siya dito. See? O, di ba? Meron pa isa, class. Yung avoidable fixed overhead natin. Ganito kasi yung logic niyan. If I will buy, I will save 200,000. If I will buy, I will save 180. Class, tingnan mo ulit yan. Tingnan mo yung 200 na yan, lilipat din siya dito. Okay? Yan ang tinatawag natin na net method. Class, ang net method, ano lang yung kailangan natin dito? Ito lang, class. Okay, yan lang. Materials, labor, and variable overhead are the relevant cost to make. Relevant cost to buy, deducted si savings, including the avoidable fixed cost. Deducted na siya. Kaya tinawag na net method. Okay? So, class, if you look at the difference, magkano pa rin yung net advantage natin? Pareho pa rin naman eh. It will give you the same answer of 140. Pansin, class? Okay? Pansin, pareho lang naman yung magiging decision natin doon. 140 pa rin. But, eto na naman tayo. Kung minsan kasi, itatanong sa atin sa board exams, how much is the relevant cost to make? What will you do? Class, priority mo, if the question is relevant cost to make, priority mo is mag-gross method ka muna. Pag tinignan mo sa choices at wala ito, sa choices, yung relevant cost to make na yan, dun mo lang gagamitin eto na siya. Mag-net method ka na. Okay? Pag nawawala ito sa choices. And meron ba tayong mga problems na nakita ng ganon? Class, marami na. Ang tinatanong, relevant cost to make lang. Priority gross. Pag wala ito, mag-net method ka. Paano if pareho meron? If pareho meron, priority mo pa rin si gross method. Okay, so class, take note mo yun ha. Importante yon. Okay? Tuloy natin. Now, what if per unit analysis naman? So, very comprehensive ito example natin. Class, pag per unit analysis, ito yung makikita natin, no? So, per unit mo lang siya. Class, naka per unit lang yan. Will already give us what? Pag tinuha natin, yung difference, that is 14 pesos per unit. At 10,000, kaya nga yung 14 pesos at 10,000, kaya nga 140 in total, di ba? So, simply stated, per unit analysis lang natin siya. Meron din ba ganyan sa board exam? Meron din. May mga questions din na itatanong how much is the net advantage per unit, net advantage in total. Meron din yan. So, dapat alam mo yung iba-ibang itsura niya para walang gulatan. Okay? So, class, by the way, yan na per unit method na yan, ginamit ko gross method. Can you also convert this into the net method? Pwede rin yan. Yung 20 at saka 80 na yan, ilipat mo dito para na naka-negative siya. net method na yan na per unit approach. Okay, so pwede rin siya. Okay, next, another illustration. Basit a truck manufactures part MC23 used in several of its truck models. 10,000 units are produced each year with production costs as follows. Materials, labor, variable support, fixed support. Class yung support cost na yan, overhead lang yan. Baka itanong mo pa sa akin, sir, ano yung support na yan? Overhead. Okay? So, total of 120,000. Basit a truck has the option of purchasing part MC23 from an outside supplier at 1120 per unit. MC23 is outsourced. 40% the fixed cost cannot be immediately converted to other uses. In other words, class, the 60% is avoidable. Yun lang ibig sabihin nun. 60% avoidable. Letter A, o class situational to. Describe avoidable cost. O class, what is avoidable cost? That is a cost that can be saved on, di ba? It will not be incurred if choosing an alternative. Avoidable cost na yan. What amount of MC23 production cost is avoidable? O class, mga usual na sagot natin kanina. Anyway, may sagot tayo dito. Letter B muna. Should Basit a truck outsource MC23? Why or why not? O, may Corbay analysis na yan. Letter C. What other items should Basit a truck consider before outsourcing any of its parts it currently manufactures? Qualitative naman yon. Okay, class, ito yung mga sagot natin. What is avoidable cost? Class, pag sinabi natin avoidable cost, those are your possible savings. What amount of MC23 production cost is avoidable? Class, ang yung avoidable cost natin is ito na yung ating mga variable cost, di ba class? Aside from the variable cost, we also have our avoidable fixed cost. O, sila na yun, class. Sa total of 110. Okay? So, pag binalikan natin dyan, ito yan. Materials, labor, variable support. Okay? Including the 10,000. Tama ba? 10,000. Yes, 10,000 of the avoidable fixed cost for total of 110,000. Okay? Yun lang yun. Now, should Basit a truck outsource MC23? Why or why not? Class, okay, if the truck is not outsourced, okay, what happens is, magkano to? 112,000. Okay? So, class, 112,000 siya. So, magkano ba acquisition price na offer sa atin? 1120, di ba? Class 1120. So, mas expensive. If it was acquired from a supplier, it will cost at a total of 112,000. If we decide to make it on our own, it will only cost us 110,000 lang. So, what should we do? You continue making na lang. Class, you continue making. What will happen to income if you continue making? It will remain the same. If you decide to purchase the component, what will happen to income? It will decrease. It will decrease by 2,000. Okay? So, class, yun lang yun. Next, what other items should Basit a truck consider before outsourcing any parts of its currently manufactures? In other words, class, ano to? Ito na yung qualitative factors. As stated earlier, titignan natin syempre yung reliability ni supplier. Aside from reliability of the supplier, the quality of the product of the supplier. Titignan din natin yan. Including the price stability. Price stability ni supplier. Okay? So, class, yun yung example natin yun ang make or buy analysis, including the example. Either ways, marami pa tayong mga problems dun sa drill questions similar sa make or buy analysis. Next decision analysis is accept or reject a special order. Okay, so class, what is accept, reject a special order muna? So, it is a one-time engagement wherein one customer decided to approach us and decided to purchase some number of units. Yun nga lang, class, it is somewhat customized. Or, pag hindi man sa customized, class, yung lumapit sa atin, friend natin siya. Di ba, class? Friend mo. So, example, ang product natin is cakes. Lumapit itong friend mo, ikakasal na siya. O buti pa siya, ikakasal na, ikaw hindi pa rin. Okay. So, class, ikakasal na yung friend mo. Tapos, nagpagawa siya sa'yo ng cake. Ikaw naman, kaibigan mo yun, di ba? Alangan naman ng sisingilin mo siya, nakikita ka pa ng malaki. So, what do? Dahil friend mo siya, bibigyan mo na lang siya ng special discount. Ang tawag natin doon, that is a special order. Or pwede rin, class, di ba? ikakasal na siya, ikaw hindi pa, nainis ka, lalo mo siyang siningil. Di ba, class? Special order pa rin yun. Higher price nga lang. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. So, class, kadalasan pag special order, mas lower yung ating selling price than the regular price. Mas mababa siya. So, ang decision analysis natin dito is, syempre, simple lang naman to. Decision guide. Accept the special order provided that the incremental revenue is greater than the incremental cost. Okay? So, class, ang accept, reject a special order, yung relevant cost natin dyan, ignore mo na yung mga fixed cost mo. Some of the costs incurred by the regular sales will be ignored. Only the costs incurred specific to the special order will become relevant. Okay? So, ladies, this will be a possible, lalo yung mga single pa sa inyo, mga single pa. Ayan, later on in your latter years of your life, ayan na may magpro-propose na sa'yo. That is not the situation na you're going to either accept or reject the proposal. Di ba, class? Very easy to explain. Now, what are the relevant costs? Class, kadalasan sa accept, reject a special order, ang kailangan nating malaman dyan is the minimum price. Magkano nga ba sisingilin ko? Para kahit na one-time engagement lang, basta hindi lang ako malugi. Kahit break-even na yan, basta meron lang, no? Matanggap lang natin. And the reason for doing so is because you accept the special order now so that in the future, captured market mo siya, pwede mo na siyang singilin at a regular price. Now, ang relevant cost natin dito, class, is most often than not the variable cost incurred. Incurred, ha? So, pag avoided, ignore. Ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina. Avoidable costs are irrelevant. In-accept, reject a special order. Plus, incremental fixed costs on special order, if any. Pag wala, ignore. Plus, opportunity cost, if any. Pag wala, ignore. Class, ang opportunity cost is affected by our idle capacity. And ito na sa class. 3 situations. Opportunity cost. What if there is excess or sufficient capacity? Meron ba tayong opportunity cost, class? Wala. Wala tayong opportunity cost dahil because of excess capacity, sufficient enough yon. Sufficient enough to cater for the additional special order units. There is no need for us to sacrifice regular sales. But if there is no excess capacity, example, class, production natin 20,000. Production capacity 20,000. 100% na yon. Sales units mo to regular sales is also 20,000. No more idle capacity. So in that situation, for you to accept the special order, you have to sacrifice your regular sales. Kaya magkakaroon ka ng opportunity cost doon. Or, with limited excess capacity, example, class, ang current production natin 18,000. Current production and sales. Production capacity, 20,000. Ilan yung idle cap mo? 2,000. May nag-special order ng 2,500 units. Walang problema sa 2,000 kasi pasok yan, di ba? Ang problema natin doon, cash yung 500 units. Yung 500 units na yun, isa-sacrifice mo coming from the regular sales for you to accept the special order. Those will become our opportunity cost. So, class, ito yun, ha? The contribution margin on the lost regular sales will become the opportunity cost, prorated based on the special order quantity on a per unit level. Okay? So, yun ang kailangan natin. Those are the relevant costs. How about the qualitative factors? Ang qualitative factors natin dito, class, is if we accept the special order, what is the initial effect or impact or reaction of our customers? Baka sabihin ng customer mo, class, buti pa tong bagong customer na to, binigyan niya ni discount, oh. Kami na matagal ng customer niya, hindi man lang kami mabigyan ng discount. O, see? Galit na sila. Class, nagalit sila. They're now angry. Ayun. And sino naman yung bagong customer mo, class? Natuwa naman si bagong customer mo. Pero meron kang hidden motive. What is your hidden motive, class, kung bakit tinanggap mo siya ngayon? Kasi alam mo na profitable siya in the future. See? Eto yun. Di ba, class? Bottom line, you will be the one who will be happy. So, class, in the future, what will happen to your special order customer? He will be sad. Kasi malalaman niya na kinikitaan mo na siya. Okay? So, class, those are qualitative factors that you need to consider. What is important is yung overall long-term profitability ng company. Okay? So, class examples tayo para mas madali maintindihan. Zimbalvo Company produces a single product. The cost of producing and selling a single unit of this product at the company's normal activity level of 40,000 units per month is as follows. We have materials, labor, variable overhead, fixed overhead, variable selling and administrative expense of 170. Class, focus our attention on variable selling and administrative. Fixed selling and administrative expense, okay. The normal selling price of the product is 81 pesos and 10 centavos per unit. An order has been received from an overseas customer for 3,000 units to be delivered this month at a special discounted price. This order would have no effect on the company's normal sales and would not change the total amount of the company's fixed cost. In other words, class, wala tayong magiging opportunity cost. Okay? So, no incremental fixed cost then. The variable selling and expense would be 20 centavos less per unit on this order than on the normal sales. Class, importante yan, ha? Importante yan. Kasi tatanggalan natin to ng 20 centavos because what is relevant is only the cost incurred. Direct labor is a variable cost in this company. So, required, o class, tatlong situation kaagad. Suppose the company has ample idle capacity to produce the units required by the overseas customers. The special discount price on the special order is 75.3 per unit. How much would this special order decrease the company's net income for the month? O class, tignan muna natin yung solution ng letter A. So, class, ganito yan. First, you compute for the variable cost of the special order. Materials, labor, variable overhead, and class. Take note, meron pa rin siyang variable selling and admin. In fact, if the problem is silent, we assume there is variable selling and admin. You only assume that there is no more variable selling and admin if the problem expressly states that the special order will not incur any variable selling and admin. Okay, so I hope that is clear. In fact, sa problem natin na to, yung variable selling and admin is 20 centavos cheaper than the regular sales. Napansin mo to, class? Okay? Ayan, 170, di ba? Ito, less 20 centavos. Kaya 150 lang. So, how much is our minimum price? Our minimum price with idle capacity is 52 pesos and 30 centavos. Now, binenta natin yan at 75.3. Minus the variable cost of 52.3 will give us generate a profit of 23 pesos per unit. Times special order quantity of 3,000. Answer is, our special order will generate as profit of 69,000. Question, are we going to accept the special order? Yes. What is the effect on profits? Profits will increase by 69,000. Now, pag tinanong kita, if the company decided to reject the special order, what will happen to net income? Nothing will happen dahil wala naman dating special order. But, if the company decides to reject the special order, how much is the opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is 69,000 because if you reject the special order, you forgo the 69,000 possible benefit. Okay? Class, pag tinanong ita, you decided to accept the special order, how much is the opportunity cost? Ang sagot doon, class, 0. Because if you accept the special order, you will in fact earn the 69,000. Nothing was forgone. I hope at this point, naintindihan na natin ang principle ng opportunity cost. Okay, going back to the questions, letter B. Suppose the company is already operating at capacity o class at capacity, meaning, nangyari dito, 0. 0 na. Okay, eto na yan, class. Nasaan ba yun? Dito na siya, without excess capacity na siya. So, what would be the opportunity cost of each unit delivered to the overseas customers and what would be the minimum price? Class, ito yung solution natin ng letter B. Ito yun, class. Diba? Ito yung normal selling price mo, variable cost of the normal sales. Class, yung variable cost ng normal sales yan, ha? That is 52.50. Ngayon, itatanong mo na naman sa akin, sir, saan mo kinuha yung 52.50 na yan? Akala ko ba 52.3? No. Class, yung 52.3 na yan, sa special order yan. Nabawasan ng 20 centavos. Tama? So, plus the 20 centavos, what is the variable cost of normal or regular sales? 52.50. O, baka itanong mo ulit sa akin yan, di ba? So ngayon class, magkano difference nito? This is in fact the contribution margin. As stated earlier, the contribution margin on the regular sales will become the opportunity cost per unit. Multiply this with, so class, eto na yan, ano? Since 0, ang ating idle capacity, the minimum price, babalik niyan sa principal, the minimum price is the variable cost of the special order plus the opportunity cost arising from the lost contribution margin on normal sales or regular sales. So how much should be the minimum price? Minimum price is 80 pesos and 90 centavos. You will not accept, wag kang tatanggap, okay? Do not accept the special order if it is lower than 80.90 centavos. Otherwise, malulugi yung company natin. Okay? So, that is letter B. Now, letter C. Class, tingnan natin letter C question. Suppose the company does not have enough idle capacity to produce all units of the overseas customers, and accepting the special order would require cutting back on production of 1,000 units for regular customers. What would be the minimum acceptable price per unit of the special order? Class, nasan yan? Nasaan yung situation na yan? Nandito, with limited capacity. Ano ba nangyari? 1,000 lang. Ilan yung special order? 3,000. So, ang pasok is only 2,000 units. 1,000 needs to be sacrificed. So, what will be our minimum acceptable price? Class, ito yung solution natin dyan. Unit contribution margin on normal sales of 28.6. Kasi andin yung 28.6 kanina, baka hanapin mo na naman sa akin. And you will sacrifice 1,000 units. So total is 28,600. At the total variable cost of the special order, total relevant cost of the special order is 185,500. Divided by our special order quantity, how much is our minimum price? Ang minimum price natin, class, 61.83. Or, may alternate solution nito. Kung gusto mo, gagawin mo lang is yung ating contribution margin na 28,600. O, class, tignan mo to ha. 28,600 divided by 3,000 units. How much is the opportunity cost per unit? 9.53 opportunity cost per unit. Tapos, i-add mo na siya sa variable cost of the special order plus 52.3 should give us the same answer. The same answer of 61.83. I'm not sure kung nakita nyo yon. Okay? So, class, pareho lang yon. Yung solution na present ko sa inyo sa letter C, alternate solution. Para, syempre, mas maganda, mas maraming approach kung alam mo, mas mabilis ka sa board exams. Okay? So, that is for the illustration and for the example, including the discussion of accept, reject, a special order. Class, mag-practice ka ha. Practice ka sa drill questions natin, including the online, para you will master, accept, reject, a special order. Hello mga ka-Rio, I hope nasusundan pa rin natin yung discussion natin. Okay, so let's now proceed with keep or drop decision or add a product line. Class, alam nyo, yung decision guide natin dito halos pareho lang. So pag keep or drop lang siya, as long as contribution margin or segment income is positive, we continue. So, in the same manner naman, we are going to add a product line if it generates contribution margin or if it generates segment income. Now, class, pansin nyo, meron akong term na ginamit, segment income. Ang segment income, hindi na bago sa yan. Na-discuss na natin yan sa performance evaluation. Di ba? Ang segment income is simply contribution margin minus direct fixed cost. So, yun lang naman yung tinitignan natin. So, simply stated, pag positive ang contribution margin, assuming there are no avoidable cost, it is profitable. It's either you still continue or you add the product line. Or, pwede rin naman class, if it has a positive segment income, which is much better, gagawin natin doon, continue pa rin siya or add a product line. So, class, ganun lang yon. So, yung discussion natin sa inyo is similar lang yung magiging approach natin. Alright? So, class, eto na yung situation ng continue versus discontinue. So what happens is, under continue or discontinue product line, kumbaga initially, because of unforeseen events or uncontrollable events, yung nalulugi yung isang branch natin, nalulugi ang division. So eventually, mag-iisip ngayon ang top management, parang mas magandang isara muna natin ito. And then we'll wait for better times Pag meron ng better times, i-reopen na lang natin siya or mag-relaunch na lang natin siya. So class, nangyari yan sa Jollibee. During the pandemic, class, what happened? It closed 255 stores. Kasi napakalaki yung losses na nila. Imagine, class, malulugi ka ng $200 million. Class, dollars ang pinag-uusapan natin, ha? So in that situation, what would you rather do? What if i-close muna natin? Di ba? Tapos mag-reopen na lang pag nag-normalize na lahat-lahat. So during this time and age, everything is already normal. Yung mga Jollibee na nag-close noon during the pandemic are now open. Class, that is a concrete example of continue against discontinue. Now the question is, when am I going to discontinue? O, di ba, class? Ito na yung decision guide natin. O, class, kanina, di ba, sa accept or reject? O, yan. Sa accept, reject, maganda pa yung relationship nyo. Eh, ngayon, nagkalabuan. Class, nagkalabuan na, di ba? So, tuloy pa ba natin to o hindi na? O, yun na yun. So, class, ang decision guide natin na stated doon sa introduction kanina is as long as, number one, if there is no avoidable fixed cost, if there is contribution margin, it is profitable. Because bottom line, if our segment or our product line generates contribution margin, it generates short-run profitability. Class, tandaan mo yun, ha? Pag contribution margin, short-run profitability yan. But in contrast, if it generates a positive segment income, mas maganda na naman yon. Kasi na-recover na natin ang variable component, na-recover pa natin yung fixed component. Long run test of profitability yon. So, kadalasan, class, basta mas stringent test, yan, pang long run na yan, pag stringent. Ito naman, pag short run lang, class, ano naman to? That is only for initial acceptance or discontinuance, of a product line. Okay? So, class, yun siya. That is our decision guide. Bottom line, class, as long as you're generating profits, it is worth continuing. Ganun lang naman. Anyway, class, madali lang to pag nakita natin to sa illustrations natin, including apply mo lang yung skills mo na na-develop natin sa performance evaluation. Alright? So, class, ito siya. Okay? So, to recall, class, recall na naman tayo kasi lumabas na yung segment income. Di ba, class? Ang segment income, ano sabi natin sa performance evaluation or sa responsibility accounting? It is simply computed as, class, nandito siya, contribution margin minus direct fixed cost. Direct fixed cost is also known as the avoidable fixed cost, also known as traceable fixed cost. And class, tandaan nyo, ha, ang traceable, direct or avoidable fixed cost is also relevant in decision analysis. Yun ang binabawas natin sa contribution margin to get segment income. In contrast, the second component of fixed cost is the common fixed cost, also known as allocated fixed cost, under performance evaluation. Class, sa performance evaluation, allocated fixed cost was ignored. Tama? Unavoidable fixed cost was ignored. Common fixed cost, yun yung tatlong pangalan niya, was ignored. Ganun din sa decision analysis. It is still irrelevant pa rin siya. Yun nga lang, class, kailan natin ginagamit ang common fixed cost? Class, common fixed cost is used only for external reporting. So, external reporting lang to compute for external net income. Ito sa class. Okay? So, syempre, pag decision making, priority natin sa management accounting, dapat internal reports lang. Okay? So, kaya segment income siya. Okay? So, what are the qualitative factors that must be considered? Di ba? When you will discontinue or continue product line. First and foremost, class, is the action of our customers. Paano bang pag tinanggal ko tong product line na to, magkakaroon ba ng negative impact from my customers? Magagalit ba sila? Malulungkot ba sila? O, di ba, class, iiyak ba sila? Magagalit ba sila? Di ba, class? Those are reactions of your customers. Ayan, parang imaginein mo rin, di ba? Kasi hintahan mo, i-break ka na niya. Ay, di ba? Okay. So, class, mag-break ka na niya, what happens? Siyempre, kahit pa paano malulungkot ka na mga 1 minute. O, di ba, class? Tapos move on ka kaagad. Ayan. So, anyway, class, kasama rin dito si employee moral. So, effect on employee moral because what if product line, example is dun sa toys department natin. Multiple yung ating products, tapos yung toys department natin, diniscontinue na natin siya. What do you think will be felt yung mga naiwan na employees mo? So, yung mga naiwan employees, class, medyo malulungkot yan kasi, or medyo kakabahan yan kasi, isipin nila, what if in the future, yung division din natin ay discontinue? See? So class employee morale is also very important. Okay? As well as reaction of our competitors. Reaction ng competitors class, it creates a void kasi nagkaroon ng void eh. So, di ba, diniscontinue yung product line mo. So, what happens? Someone will get your market. So, ang question doon is, pag nakuha nila yung market mo, what will happen to your market dominance? It will affect your long-term sustainability. Plus, take note ha, ano sabi natin sa qualitative factors kanina? The effect is long-term. Unlike with quantitative, ano lang sila? Immediate effects lang yung mga yan. Okay? So, those are ang best example natin dito, class, best example natin dyan is the story of Nokia. Yan, the story of Nokia. They decided actually medyo nangyari doon is binenta nila. Binenta nila ang Nokia, tapos there was a time na nag-stop ang production ng Nokia, tapos nawala na yung market niya, nakuha na ni Samsung as well as ni Apple. Then eventually, they decided to relaunch ulit ang Nokia but it was already too late. Wala na yung market niya. That's the danger, okay, when you discontinue a product line. Ayan. So, class, ganun din, di ba? O ladies, pag brinake nyo, or yung mga gentlemen, pag brinake nyo yung kasintahan nyo, mag-isip-isip ka rin. What if wala nang magkakagusto sa'yo sa future? Sayang din. Class, anyway, let's continue. This is known as the shutdown point. What is shutdown point? Di ba, class, kanina nabanggit natin sa inyo, discontinue mo na. Ang tanong doon is, kailan ako magdi-discontinue? So, at what? Dapat measurable yung basis ko ng discontinuance ko. Up to what level of sales units am I going to continue my operations? And up to what level of sales units I will rather prefer to discontinue. Class, yan ang tinatawag natin na shutdown point. At shutdown point, the segment income is not exactly equal to zero. So, ibig sabihin nun, class, depende kasi sa sales trends mo yan. Pag ang sales trend natin is gradually declining, bumabagsak na bumabagsak. Ayan. And then, pag umabot na siya sa shutdown point, your segment income is now equal to zero. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Contribution margin is just sufficient to recover the avoidable fixed cost. But, class, if your sales units will further dip down, babagsak pa yan sa shutdown point, ang losses mo, you will already include the avoidable fixed cost, including the unavoidable fixed cost. Lalo ka nang malulugi niyan. Class at shutdown point, lugi ka pa rin dyan. Ang losses natin dyan is only the unavoidable fixed cost. In contrast, lower than the shutdown point, ang losses mo dalawa na. It is already the unavoidable fixed cost and the avoidable fixed cost na. Okay? So class, anyway, meron tayong example nito para mas masundan mo siya. Ayan. So this is the formula of shutdown point. The formula of shutdown point is similar to the break-even point with may konting twist nga lang siya. Okay, class? Tignan mo to ha. Shutdown point in units is avoidable fixed cost divided by, ignore muna natin si startup cost if any, avoidable fixed cost divided by contribution margin per unit is the basic formula of shutdown point in units. But, in case the company wants to, in the future, di ba class, ang nangyari kasi dito sa shutdown natin is temporary shutdown lang. Few months, 1 or 2 years lang, and then later on, we will reopen the store. Pag nag-reopen ka ng store, ang tawag natin dyan, relaunching. Relaunching of the store, relaunching of the product line. That is known as, in accounting parlance, that is startup cost, if any. So, avoidable fixed cost minus startup cost, if any, divided by the contribution margin per unit. Okay? So, if that is stated in pesos, parang sa break-even point, di ba, class? Sorry, stated in units, I mean. Pag stated in pesos naman, you use your contribution margin ratio. Okay? So, ito siya. Class, simple examples tayo. So, I will give you at least 2 examples. One example for the determination whether to continue or discontinue a product line, and then another example for the shutdown point. So at a minimum. Okay, so Camera House is considering eliminating M150 from its camera line because of losses over the past quarter. The policy amounts of information for M150 is summarized below. You have sales, manufacturing cost, materials, labor, support, operating loss of 20,000. O class, di ba? Pag initial glance na ganyan, so para bang ikaw din mapapaisip ka, mas maganda na lahat yata if i-discontinue ko na to kasi parang lugi na yun ng 20,000. O, di ba class? Pero be careful ha, hindi basta-basta ganyan. Now, support costs are 70% variable and the remaining 30% is depreciation of special equipment for M150 that has no resale value. Should Camry House eliminate M150 from its product line? Why or why not? Class, ang unang analysin mo dito is, meron ba akong avoidable fixed cost? Kasi nga, di ba class, it's either contribution margin, pag may avoidable fixed cost, segment income. Sa situation natin na binigay dito sa inyo, wala naman siyang sinabi na avoidable fixed cost. So malamang, ano lang titignan natin dito? We're only going to look at the contribution margin. So class, ito na siya. Ang sagot dito is no because what happens? Effectively, Camera House, yung Model M150 natin is still generating contribution margin. Yung sales niya, that is still what? Pareho lang yan class ha, pati materials at saka labor. Yung variable component lang ng support cost natin, that is 30%. Sabi, di ba class? That is depreciation, 70% variable. Will give us contribution margin of 10,000. With the contribution margin of 10,000, it simply means it is still profitable. Another example class, we have the management accountant for M&M Company has prepared the following income statement for the most current year. Class, yung previous example natin, contribution margin lang yun ha. Okay. So, chocolate, other candy, fudge, and total. So, at an initial glance, class, tignan mo ulit. Initial glance pa lang, si other candy, na net loss na siya. So, pag ikaw si top management, mapapaisip ka rin, di ba? Discontinue ko na lang kaya si other candy ko. Pero as stated earlier, how do you evaluate this? We're going to use the segment income. Okay? So, our product segment income. So, class, tignan natin ito. Di ba, meron siyang contribution margin, delivery and ordering cost, rent, and allocated corporate cost class. Ito na si allocated cost mo. Ano sabi natin kanina sa allocated cost? It can be ignored. Tama, it should be ignored in decision making as well as in performance evaluation. So, class, ito na yung letter A. These are the questions. Do you recommend discontinuing the other candy product line? Why or why not? If chocolate product line had been discontinued, corporate profits for the current year would have decreased by what amount? And if other candy was discontinued and replaced with the caramel that generates segment income of 10,000, what is the net effect on the corporate profits? Class, ito na yung introduction of a new product line. O, di ba? So, solution class, ito siya. So, first and foremost, let's compute for the segment income. Segment income is simply the contribution margin minus the delivery cost and the rentals. So, segment income niya is 4,000. Class, there's another way of computing 4,000. Naituro ko sa inyo yan under performance evaluation. Balikan natin to. Ilan yung reported corporate profit? 1,000. Add back mo yung allocated cost na 5. So, 1,000 plus 5,000 will give us how much? That will give you 4,000 then. So, class, ang other candy is still generating a segment income of 4,000. Meaning, if this is discontinued, your overall profits will decrease by 4,000. So, are we going to discontinue? Answer is no, because it's still generating profits of 4,000. Okay, requirement letter B. What if, sabi niya, okay, so what if the chocolate was discontinued? Klase chocolate discontinued nandito. Eh dito pa lang, alam mo na profit na siya, di ba? So the question is, are you going to eliminate the 4,000 profit? Ang sagot doon, class, hindi lang yung 4,000 profit, the segment income. Magkano ba segment income nito? 14,000 minus 2 minus 3,000 is equal to 9. Or 9,000, di ba class? Or 5,000. Ito, di ba, add back mo? 4,000 plus 5 is equal to, again, 9,000, which is the solution that I gave you. Para makita mo rin dito sa ating presentation ng alternate solutions. What is important is, in the board exams, dapat alam mo yung multiple or iba-ibang approaches, okay, that will work best in the given situation. Letter C, class, what is requirement letter C? If other candy was discontinued and replaced with caramel that generates segment income of 10,000, what is the effect on net income? Other candy class, di ba? Segment income ito kanina. Meron siyang segment income of 4. If you discontinue other candy, you will eliminate 4,000. mawawala sa yan, decrease in income mo. But, it will be replaced with a segment income of 10,000. So effectively, how much are we going to receive? Our profits will increase by 6,000. Given this situation, given this chance, what are we going to do? Class, pag meron tayong pwede natin siyang palitan ng caramel na lang, we would rather discontinue na lang. Di ba? Discontinue other candy, replace it with caramel, overall profits will increase by 6,000. Alright? So, ganun lang yon. Next, class, ito example natin ng shutdown point. Zoro Company produces and sells 8,000 units of product X each year. Each unit of product X sells for 10 pesos and has a contribution margin of 6 pesos. Automatic class, no? Binigay naman na si contribution margin eh. It is estimated that if product X is discontinued, 51,000 of the 6,000 fixed cost charged to product X could be eliminated. What is the overall increase-decrease in income if product X was discontinued? Compute for the shutdown point in pesos and in units. Recompute the shutdown point in pesos and in units if the startup cost is 1,500. Okay, class? Ito yung solution natin. So, what is the overall increase-decrease in income if product X is discontinued muna? So, ganito yan, class. Okay, so total contribution margin is only 48. Diba? So, 48,000 minus, ayan, avoidable fixed cost of 51,000. So, at this point, class, it is already generating a segment loss of 3,000. Okay? So, meron na siyang segment loss of 3. Now, baka hanapin mo na naman sa akin, sir, saan mo kinuha yung 48,000 na yan? Ano sagot doon, class? 40,000 plus 8,000. I'm just kidding. Okay? So, saan na nga yung 48,000 na yan? 8,000 units times 6. Okay? Is 48,000. Minus avoidable fixed of 51, segment loss na siya of 3,000. Question, are we going to discontinue product X? Ang sagot doon, class, yes. Discontinue mo na yan kasi lugi na tayo. Okay, lugi ka na. May segment loss na yan of 3,000. Okay? So, if this is discontinued, what will happen to overall profits of the company? Class, napaka-simple. If you discontinue this, you eliminate the loss. By eliminating the loss, what will happen to net income or profits? Income or profits will increase. So, class, discontinue mo siya. So, compute for the shutdown point. Class, tandaan mo yung formula ng shutdown point natin kanina, ha? Assuming there is no startup cost muna. So, ganito lang yan. That is 51,000 divided by 6 pesos and 51,000 divided by 60%. Now, saan na naman nanggaling yung 60% na yan? 10 pesos, 6 pesos. 6 pesos CMU divided by 10 pesos na selling price is the contribution margin ratio of 60%. Okay? So, from their class, from our sales na 85,000, variable cost is 40%, so contribution margin is 51. Less avoidable fixed cost of 51, how much is our segment income? It is exactly equal to 0. Yan yung sinabi ko sa inyo kanina. At shutdown point, segment income is exactly equal to 0. Okay? So, class, ibig sabihin nun, at 8,500 units, dapat nag-shutdown ka na. Di ba? Tamang-tama lang na yung segment income mo is already equal to 0. Lower than 8,500, malulugi ka na. Kaya nga pansin nyo, class, di ba? Ito, ilan yung sales units niya dito? 8,000 na eh. 8,000 is now lower than the shutdown point of 8,500. Kaya siya nalugi ng 3,000. I hope nakuha natin yung gusto kong i-drive sa inyo. Okay? So, class, may question ako sa inyo dito. Although nag-shutdown na nga siya, dito, nag-shutdown na siya at 8,500. Meron pa rin ba siyang loss? Ang sagot doon, class, meron pa rin. Magkano ang loss niya? Ang loss niya is the unavoidable portion of the fixed cost. Okay? The unavoidable. So, nasan yun, class? Ito, 51,000, that is the avoidable. Nag-shutdown ka. Pero class, take note, may naiwan pa dyan na 9,000. So, ibig sabihin nun, kahit nag-shutdown ka na, meron ka pa ring loss of 9,000. Yun nga lang kasi wala ka nang magagawa sa 9,000 loss na yun. Talagang nandun na siya. Okay? It is simply, class, choosing between two evils. Ayan. It is either maximum loss, it is either a, possible loss of 9,000 or possible loss of a greater than 9,000. Okay? So, class, 9,000 is inevitable. Now, what is the shutdown point if there's startup cost? So, pag sinubstitute natin sa formula, from the avoidable fixed cost, idadak lang natin si startup cost na 1.5 divided by 6 divided by 60% will give us 8,250 units or 82,500 pesos. Alright? So class, ganun lang ang pag-compute natin under shutdown point. As stated earlier, class, napakadali lang ang computations natin sa relevant costing. Ang mahirap lang dyan is in fact the decision making. So class, practice kayo lang ng practice ha, dun sa mga online drill questions natin for problems related to continue, discontinue product line, including the shutdown point. Hello mga Kario, this is the easiest sa mga decision situations na i-discuss natin sa inyo under relevant costing. This is sell as is or process further. Okay, so what is sell as is or process further muna? Klasang sell as is or process further is simply trying to decide on whether the product will already be sold as is or it will be processed further pa siya. And ganito kasi ang class. Example natin, sugarcane. Di ba? Ang sugarcane, tubo, is already saleable by itself. Yun nga lang class, ang selling price ng sugarcane as a raw material, mababa lang. Tapos hindi pa siya ready for consumption, di ba? So what happens is we need to process it further. So pag pre-process further natin yon, after further processing, the selling price will increase. Tataas yan. Tawag natin doon incremental revenues. But meron siyang related cost. If you process it further, you will incur further processing cost. Di ba? Class, alam nyo the cost accounting, you just call it as the further processing cost. So bottom line class, ang sell as is or process further is simply a problem of cost-benefit analysis. The benefit is the incremental revenue for processing further, and the cost is the incremental cost of further processing. So what should be our decision guide? Class, ang decision guide natin doon, napaka-simple lang. Decision guide is process further provided that the incremental revenue of processing further is greater than the incremental further processing cost. So, syempre, pag mas mataas yung incremental revenue, profits will now increase. Okay, so class, napakadali nito. Now, some few reminders. Ignore joint cost. Why? Because class, ang joint cost natin is already a sunk cost. Whether we will process it further or it is sold as is, the joint cost was already incurred. So class, kadalasan sa cost accounting, ang tawag natin sa kanya, that is the cost incurred at before the split off point. Cost incurred before the split off point. And the cost incurred after the split off point is known as the, tawag natin doon, that is the further processing cost. Ito na siya class, di ba? So, sa decision analysis natin, ano yung nagiging relevant? What is relevant is yung incremental revenue for further processing and the additional cost of further processing. Joint cost, ignore. I have seen problems in the board exams before na yung joint cost niya allocated per unit, allocated in total, class allocated man o hindi, joint cost pa rin siya. Ignore mo pa rin siya sa decision analysis natin. But, okay class, this is the caveat or this is the warning. I have seen problems in the board exams o may feedback na tayo sa mga board exams na ang tinatanong is unit cost. Unit cost of the finished product after further processing. Class, pag ganun, ang question sa inyo, apply your skills in cost accounting. In cost accounting, ituturo sa inyo under AFAR, yung pag-allocate ng allocation ng common cost. It's either the physical method, the physical units method, or we also have the relative sales value methods. So class, balikan nyo na lang dun ha, pagdating sa pag-compute ng unit cost of a finished product with joint cost and separable cost. So sa atin kasi decision analysis lang tayo. Ang concern lang natin dito is, am I going to sell it as is or process further? Okay? So anyway, let's continue. Illustration. Stars Manufacturing Company produces products A, B, C, and D through a joint process. The joint process amounts to 200,000. Class, yung 200,000 na yan is already a joint cost. In management accounting, ignore. In cost accounting, allocate to get the unit cost of a finished product. Okay, so class, eto na ating units produced. Sales value at split off. Class, ibig sabihin nun, this is sales value before further processing. And if the components or the products are further processed, this is now our additional cost. Kasi ang tinatawag natin na further processing cost. And this is now the selling price or ultimate sales value after further processing. So, class, ang gagawin natin, napakasimple lang naman. To help us identify which product should be processed further. Madali lang yan. Class, ito yung question niya. Which product should be sold at split off to maximize profits in the short run? How much is the total revenue if the proper decision was made? So, class, ganito lang gagawin mo. To compute for incremental revenue, example for product A1, 15,000 minus 10, incremental revenue is 5,000 minus incremental cost of 2,500, meaning there's a net increase in profit of 2,500. Ganun lang yun. Pati rin to, class, 35 minus 30 is 5. 5,000 minus 3, incremental profit of 2. 25 minus 20, kinalculator mo pa, 5,000. 5,000 minus 4, kinalculator mo ulit. Okay? 1,000 profit, additional profit. So, it is processed further. But, class, tignan mo to. 45 minus 40, 5,000. Magkano yung additional cost niya? 6. So, pag logic lang to, class, para kumita ng 5,000, kailangan mong gumasto ng 6,000. Huwag na lang lugi ka ng 1,000. Tama? I hope nasundan natin yon. Parang ito rin, class, di ba? Para kumita ng additional 5,000, kailangan mong gumasto ng 3,000. Okay lang. Kasi meron ka namang profit na 2,000. Yun ang logic approach naman nun. Okay, so class, alam na natin yung sagot. Ito na yan, di ba? So, which of the following products should be processed further? It is A1, B2, and C3. What will happen to D4? It should be sold as is. Okay, sold na siya at the split off point. Now, may question siya, how much is the total revenue if the proper decision was made? So class, ang gagawin mo lang doon, if the proper decision was made, yung ating A, B, and C, yung revenue niya is now based on the revenue after the split off. And yung ating D naman is the revenue before the split off, which is now, eto na siya, class. Okay? So eto, these are the revenues after split off. This is the revenue before the split off. Total revenue, if the proper decision was made, is 115,000. Okay, so class, ganun kadali, di ba? As promised, okay, as promised of all the decision analysis na gagawin natin, that is the easiest of them all.